pry your eyes open. We probably don't even need to do that because you're on my daily. We're gonna pry your eyes open until you consistently watch clips over and over and over and over and over again to the point where like, your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now.
One single unhinged live rant, delivered in pure rage, was all that it took for LowTierGod to cement himself as one of gaming's most infamous villains. Not because of any real skill or victory, but purely because of his endless outbursts. While some laughed at the spectacle, most recoiled in disgust. The clip detonated across Twitch, YouTube, and Reddit, getting endlessly remixed, mocked, and replayed as the perfect example of toxic gaming culture.
Every single time, nigga, shut the fuck up. You know I'm a rage quit, nigga. You know my MO. Period. Don't speak on me, nigga. Cause you want clout. This nigga desperate for clout.
LowTierGod built his legacy on rage, but when the news of his 17-year-old girlfriend surfaced, the conversation took a darker turn. These moments made the world understand LowTierGod. Rage can be a reaction, but it was his signature, the engine of his fame. Every insult, every meltdown, every pathetic crash out, each one forged the repulsive persona viewers either loved to hate or couldn't bear for more than a minute. This is why he got banned 7 times. To understand the man behind the anger, we need to go back to South Central Los Angeles, to a young DeLawrence, first discovering fighting games and the early warning signs of the bitter, all-talk personality that would eventually become LowTierGod. Before LowTierGod became a notorious online name, there was Dale Emmanuel Wilson, also known as DeLawrence, a boy growing up in South Central Los Angeles, quietly observing a world that didn't always make sense. Born on November 19, 1984, he grew up without a steady father figure.
That's why I'll never ever forgive my dad, period. Because not only did you fuck up with me, you fucked up with my brother too. My brother is like 6'6". I mean, damn, you could have coached one of us into making you some paper. Like, if you're a dad and you got sons and you see that your sons are abnormally tall, okay, we'll be like, damn, well, okay, well, if I work with these kids, I could make these mother stars and I could be eating up. You know, like, you could at least do some shit like that.
LTG's father had left the family, and LTG claims that he wasn't a good father figure, making not only his own life difficult, but also the life of his younger brother, who was only 6 or 7 at the time, shaping a sense of independence early on. DeLawrence often described himself as different, intelligent, aware, and unusually sharp for his age. Life's challenges didn't go unnoticed. Feeling isolated from peers, he gravitated towards activities that offered a sense of mastery and control. At 7, Street Fighter became more than a game.
All right, my name is DeLawrence. I'm LowTierGod. Guilty, I just want to let you know that you're gonna lose. There's really nothing you can do about it. It's just as simple as that.
It was refuge. Each match, each victory gave him a taste of achievement and identity in a world where he sometimes felt invisible.
You know me as LowTierGod.
I already beat him. I beat him 20-6. I don't even know why we're having this match.
Called him a has-been, called him a rape face, Charles Manson, anything you could think of. This dude looks like a fucking zombie out of The Walking Dead.
DeLawrence's personality was quietly forming in these years as an unusual mix of confidence, defiance, and a desire to assert himself. He observed, calculated, and internalized the world around him, building a mental framework that would later fuel his online persona. Video games, strategy, and observation became his tools for understanding life on his own terms. By the time he discovered streaming and competitive gaming, the foundation was set. DeLawrence was ready to emerge, carrying a mind honored by early independence, sharp intelligence, and a drive to stand out. The seeds of the future LowTierGod were planted, not through drama or rebellion, but through quiet, relentless preparation to become someone the world couldn't ignore.
Bro, that literally was the main reason why a lot of black people didn't like me growing up, because I just didn't have the swag. And then I had to start faking rug just to fit in.
DeLawrence never had the steady presence of a father figure. He described himself as different, sharper than those around him, and more aware of life's unfairness than most kids his age.
I don't feel like anybody actually authentically to me, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I've always been an outside in the 5th grade, 4th grade by a tree by myself. It's all good. Ain't shit changed, bro.
But being smart didn't make life easier. It made him a target. Tall and lanky, DeLawrence's fame made him stand out. And standing out in school wasn't always an advantage. LTG endured molestation between the ages of 5 and 7 and faced relentless bullying growing up.
Right? So when I was around 5 years old, I remember, hold on, I wasn't even 5, I was probably like 7, okay, 6 or 7. And I remember there was this chick in the back. She had to be at least, she was like the you know, we had our little teacher or whatever like that, and it was her daughter. But of course her daughter was a full-fledged teenager. So every day, this girl would take me in the back of the little nursery room, whatever the fuck room it was, where all the little kids' beds and shit was like that. And she would just start playing with my and making me touch all over her boobs and all that kind of shit. And you know, I was a kid, I didn't really know any better. So, you know, I just let her play with my boom, boom, boom. And then every day I would come home, my mom would be like, why is your hand in your pants? Blah, 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 what's wrong with you?
It's easy to see why his language is so rough, why he's always on the blaming side, and why showing vulnerability isn't part of his persona. He often ate alone, escaping into his own world, observing the chaos around him while quietly building a mind that processed everything differently. Video games became a refuge.
Third Strike, I actually enjoyed that game. Third Strike was the first game I actually took serious. I was downloading videos on DSL, learning Urian combos. I enjoyed that game so much, I played every single character. But Street Fighter 4 is a game I hated ever since I first put it in my 360.
When he became a teenager, he discovered Street Fighter 3, and with it, a sense of control and accomplishment that real life rarely offered. Games were the best way of entertainment and a way to carve out an identity in a world where he felt invisible. This early combination of isolation, intelligence, and desire to assert himself planted the seeds of the personality that would later explode online. Even back then, the arrogance, defiance, and refusal to fit in were already festering, waiting for the right moment and the right platform to emerge.
Round 1, fight!
Before the endless rage trolling and viral meltdowns, he was simply a lonely, resentful kid who felt unseen, already laying the groundwork in his own delusional way to become someone the world would remember for all the worst reasons. By the time DeLon Sparrow reached his early 20s, life had started testing him in ways that would later echo online.
So, I remember I'd had a job at Walmart some years ago, right? Like hella years ago, right? The who fired me, I remember when I got fired, this is how I got fired from that job. So, I used to always be late because when you drive from the west side of Lancaster to the east side of Palmdale, that would take 30, 45 minutes because there's always traffic. So I was always late, but I was always at work. I never called out. So I would go into the system.
At 21, he was working at Walmart, clocking long shifts just to make ends meet. Money was tight, responsibility was growing, and the world was proving that talent and intelligence alone didn't guarantee an easy path. Real life wasn't just financially brutal, it was socially chaotic too. In 2005, a 17-year-old girlfriend filed a restraining order against him, accusing him of threats and domestic violence. Court documents show a young man who repeatedly lashed out, used abusive language, and behaved in ways so dangerous that the court restricted him from buying a firearm. These weren't random incidents, they were early red flags of a deeply unstable personality pattern already taking root. DeLon's aggression, defiance, and habit of escalating every situation were traits that would soon explode into the toxic online persona the world came to know. Even before cameras, microphones, or streaming platforms existed in his life, he was learning one painful lesson. Whenever the world pushed back against his ego, he responded with even more hostility.
Right? I don't know what the fuck is up with gaming creators. You dumbass. Let me tell you something. You dumbass that created Namco, you're fucking retards. Capcom, you're fucking retards, you dumbass.
The period of work struggles and interpersonal conflict became a crucible. The combination of responsibility, frustration, and emotional volatility was shaping him into someone the public would eventually recognize, not just for skill or intelligence, but for a persona that was raw, unpredictable, and unforgettable. By the time he had turned to the internet as an outlet, DeLon Sparrow's foundation was already set. A young adult confronting the pressures of real life, carrying the intensity and conflict that would later make LowTierGod a figure everyone remembered, and few forgave. In 2008, Delawan Sparrow faced a moment that would leave a lasting mark on his life. He was charged with purchasing stolen goods, an incident he later explained as taking the blame for someone else's actions. Whether by choice or circumstance, this brush with the law carried immediate consequences: a short stint in prison, roughly a month, and a record that would shadow him long after. Even a minor criminal record can ripple through a person's life, and for Delawan, it made stable employment far more difficult. Opportunities that might have offered financial security and normalcy became nearly impossible to secure. The world was already testing him, and now it was pushing back in a way that felt permanent. Rather than breaking him, this period became a catalyst for reinvention. Feeling constrained by real-world limitations, he began to turn more seriously toward the online space, a place where identity could be controlled, projected, and amplified. The frustration, defiance, and tendency to shift blame that came with these experiences began to shape the online persona many would later see. This became one of Delawan's major turning points. Life was steering him away from traditional paths and towards the internet. It helped set the stage for LowTierGod, a figure shaped as much by difficult circumstances as by his own choices and reactions. By 2012, Delawan Sparrow was already seeking a way out of the chaos that had marked his early years. He focused on building skills that could shape a future he controlled. He also earned a degree in health and fitness, followed by another in business management the same year. These achievements reflected persistence and a drive to create opportunities for himself. But this phase wasn't as clean as it sounds. The transcript points to a mix of ambition and ongoing pressure. Even while working towards these goals, there were frustrations building underneath. These setbacks from earlier years didn't fully disappear, they just took a different form.
Guys, love yourself. That's all I gotta say. If you look in the mirror and hate yourself, love yourself. Yes, you should love yourself now. Yes, you should. Because I do.
By the end of 2013, the effort was still ongoing. He was building skills, gaining knowledge, and pushing toward a more stable future. But not everything felt resolved. There was something unsettling beneath the surface, and that feeling didn't stay contained for long. While the online world would soon recognize the more volatile persona of LowTierGod, behind the scenes he was methodically crafting the skills and experiences that could sustain a life beyond the chaos that had followed him for years.
Oh my God! Wow! Get off my... Oh my God! You sorry ass bitch!
Before the world knew the name LowTierGod, Delawan Sparrow was already making waves for all the wrong reasons. On Xbox Live, he wasn't focused on skill, he was focused on chaos.
A blue check with 30-something. You had 30K followers for years. You're a nobody. Well, fuck about no goddamn snake eyes.
Matches weren't about strategy or improvement. They were about intimidation, insults, and pushing every opponent to their breaking point. He mocked players relentlessly, taunted them with non-stop trash talk, and never hesitated to escalate even minor losses into full-blown meltdowns.
It's so fucking laggy, I can't even play. Why do bro just play video? Bro, get the... Alright.
Fans and opponents alike began noticing a pattern. In some clips that later went viral, Sparrow screamed at his rivals, berated them in real time, and even rage-quit matches on a whim.
You're gonna stay on my dick until you die. You serve no purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to be in my stream sucking on my dick daily. Your purpose in life is to be in that chat blowing it daily. Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now and give somebody else a piece of that oxygen and ozone layer that's covered up so that we can breathe inside this blue trapped bubble. Because what are you here for? To worship me? Kill yourself. I mean that with 100%, with 1,000%.
One moment in particular where he told an opponent to go kill yourself became infamous, foreshadowing the kind of controversy that would follow him for years. These videos weren't polished, they were raw, chaotic, and impossible to ignore. His behavior didn't go without consequences. Repeated Xbox Live bans piled up, each one with a small warning that was ignored. Instead of slowing down, Sparrow doubled down. He exploited every loophole, pushed every limit, and perfected the art of making matches unbearable for everyone involved. His attacks grew personal, his outbursts louder, and his reputation more notorious.
Oh my God!
Online communities reacted with a mix of fear and fascination. Some warned that this approach would catch up with him, while others shared every outrageous clip, praising his audacity and unpredictable style. Every video, every meltdown, every ban was fueling the legend of LowTierGod, a player defined not by victories, but by chaos and rage. Even in these early years, long before Twitch streams or YouTube channels turned him into a household name, Sparrow was building the persona that would capture attention worldwide. Every insult, every clip, every band laid the foundation for a presence that people couldn't ignore, and a story that was only just beginning. The name LowTierGod didn't take long to spread once it hit YouTube. Around 2012 to 2013, LowTierGod started uploading content that immediately stood apart from everything else in the fighting game space. His videos carried a raw, aggressive tone that pulled people in within seconds. There was no slow build. The energy was already high from the first moment. Every upload followed a pattern that viewers quickly recognized. Matches turned into arguments, commentaries turned into attacks. Opponents were not players who were constantly targeted with criticism. Sparrow focused on breaking them down, pointing out every mistake and pushing reactions out of them after the match ended. His voice dominated the content, even louder than the gameplay itself. Clips from his videos started circulating across forums and early social platforms. People started saying that whenever the opponent starts beating him, he quits. When he can't beat the opponent, he quits. Whatever the scenario is, the quit is his entire history. These unpredictable moments became the focus. His name began to appear in discussions about whether this was entertaining or simply too much abuse.
You're here to see me rage? You must be here to see my cock. Too bad you can't see it. Get that ass big.
As his audience grew, the way he handled viewers became just as noticeable as his gameplay behavior. His channel wasn't an open space, it was controlled. Anyone who questioned him, disagreed with him, or even suggested he take things down a level was removed quickly. Bans became part of the environment. Regular viewers understood the rules without them being explained. Support him, agree with him, or disappear from the chat.
All the teach. If you don't donate, I don't acknowledge. I'm not answering his questions no more, nothing. Fuck that shit.
The relationship between Sparrow and his audience shifted even further when money became part of the interaction. Donations weren't treated casually, they became a way to stay visible. Viewers who supported him financially received attention, while those who didn't were often ignored or called out.
What's good games about that? Are you on coke? Of the purest form? How many times you gotta fucking put that shit, man? God fucking damn, man. Stop asking me to fucking re-add you.
Some were mocked directly during streams, especially if they tried to engage without contributing, or even if they praised his gameplay. The message became clear: attention had a price. Despite the criticism, his visibility kept growing. The same behavior that frustrated people also made his content easy to share. Short clips, heated moments, and sharp reactions traveled quickly. His name became easier to recognize, even for those who had never watched a full video. By this stage, the LowTierGod identity was fully formed. The tone, the structure, the interaction style were all locked in. His channel operated on confrontation, control, and constant pressure. Every upload added to a growing reputation that was hard to ignore.
You fat, disgusting, ass-smelling, blob, cheese drinking.
In 2014, things started crossing out of the screen and into real life. Up to this point, most of the trash talk stayed online: matches, streams, clips. But with Alex Myers, it turned into something quite different.
Why don't you tell everybody your history with Mr. Alex Myers?
Okay, so basically I was streaming, right? This guy comes into my room, he gets one win, he leaves. I beg him to play again, we play a little troll game, he's using Rose, I'm using Rolento, and then after the set, he seems to just disappear. So, he disappeared like a pussy, basically.
LowTierGod claimed Alex had beaten him, and instead of letting it go, he carried that frustration outside the game. The tone didn't cool down after the match ended. It followed him into real interactions.
I have one more question for you too, man, at this point. Do you believe that you're a better Street Fighter player than Alex Myers?
If I did, I wouldn't be here.
I think I think that's what everybody wants to hear. And without further ado,
He started calling him out publicly, mocking him, trying to pull him into direct confrontation. There were moments where he challenged him in front of others, turning it into a spectacle. The same energy people saw online was now happening face to face. Loud, aggressive, and focused on putting the other person down. But this time it didn't land the same way, because no amount of shouting could change what already happened. Alex had already shown what he could do in the match itself. Skill spoke first, and everything that came after just felt like noise. The more LowTierGod pushed, the more it exposed something else. Frustration that couldn't be covered up. People watching these clips started noticing the shift. The confidence didn't look the same anymore. The reactions felt forced. Instead of controlling the moment, he looked like he was chasing it. You could see clearly from the footage, the energy, the body language, the way things played out. It didn't feel like dominance. It felt like someone was trying to hold on to it. And for many viewers, it came off as embarrassing. The gap between talk and performance became harder to ignore. What worked online wasn't working the same way in real situations, especially when skill was involved. But it didn't stop there.
If I was him, if I were you, whatever the fuck your name is, Spook 8, Coon, Moon Cricket, Porch Monkey, Baboon, Gorilla, Black Ghost. What else does this nigga look like? Critters, Niglet, any black clown you could think of. Listen, if I were you, my nigga, I would remove every last video I put up because I'm gonna kill your channel. It's already on the verge.
The trash talk continued, the attitude stayed the same, and the next opponent would take things even further. A moment that would stick with him longer than anything before, and one that people still replay to this day.
On Why Gamers Were Single was Viscon. This dude looks like he lives in his basement. He looks like he never gets sun. He could possibly be a fucking vampire. So after that, he goes on Twitter. He starts e-thugging. You don't know me. As simple as that. You could call me a bitch online all you want, but in real life, this isn't a fucking game. As simple as that. You say it to my face right now.
all right.
The rivalry with Viscount, a respected player in the fighting game community, had been brewing for weeks. Trash talk escalated online, with LowTierGod claiming that Viscount was washed up and avoiding real competition. The tension reached its peak at a Wednesday Night Fights event, where the long-awaited match finally took place. Viscount defeated the Lawn decisively, leaving him unable to recover during the final rounds. What made the moment unforgettable was LowTierGod's reaction afterwards. His meltdown, shouting, blaming, and lashing out was captured on camera and uploaded online.
So you saying that all I do is play video games? You saying that I'm on meth, that I do drugs? No, seriously, fuck that. That's what I do in my spare time.
Fans and critics alike replayed the clip endlessly. Comments poured in, some mocking his inability to accept defeat, others fascinated by the raw, explosive personality on display.
So, there's gonna come a point when you forget about what happened, and you're gonna want to come back at me, and you're gonna want to wash the taste of my dick out of your mouth.
This incident became a turning point in his internet persona. It wasn't just about losing a match, it was the moment that the world saw LowTierGod as a sore loser. Someone whose rage and defiance were central to his identity. But even after all that, he didn't change a bit, and still called the game lame.
We all still want to know how you felt about that match, or what you got to say about his thoughts.
What I have to say about the match is he played a lame game, he won.
I played lame? You ran like a bitch!
Charge characters simply are for idiots for no idea. That's exactly what it is. What?
The Viscount feud marked the start of a pattern that would define DeLo and Sparrow's life online. A combination of undeniable talent, volatile personality, and moments of chaos that kept people watching.
No wonder no one wants to work with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when they were doing Law Call Live, and I got, supposedly, even though I never formally got offered it, but I was going to get offered $50K. You're like, well, why wouldn't they offer LTG? Why would they?
As DeLawan Sparrow's online persona expanded, viewers began comparing him to Darkside Phil, widely known as DSP. Both figures were infamous for rage quitting during matches, blaming losses on others, and struggling to handle criticism. The comparison quickly circulated around forums and comment sections. Thousands of viewers voiced their opinions. Some warned that this behavior could bring serious consequences. Others found the chaos entertaining, and a growing number of fans celebrated the intensity.
I'm not playing no broke arcade ex-junkie that drinks monsters and has a triple crease hairy midsection gut. You can't beat me at anything in life. Not any version of Street Fighter that's 4 and up. You can't beat me at baseball, soccer, football, weightlifting, running, boxing, nothing. Get off my dick, you fucking peon.
DeLawan Sparrow found the comparison insulting and refused to be defined by it. The tension intensified in 2015 when Darkside Phil publicly challenged him to a head-to-head match. DeLawan Sparrow declined the challenge, which sparked heated discussions across multiple gaming communities. Despite his refusal, the nickname Black DSP began to stick, further cementing the pattern of rage-driven notoriety. By this point, DeLawan Sparrow's behavior was no longer a private quirk. It became public, repeatable, and controversial. Tens of thousands of viewers were observing, judging, and discussing him, with both praise and criticism fueling his persona. This moment revealed the growing cracks in his character, an early sign that the very traits propelling his fame could also lead to conflict and eventual collapse. LowTierGod never treated his audience nicely. Viewers were charged to participate in chats, moderators were treated like enemies, and every stream became a volatile mix of rage, strict rules, and personal attacks. His outburst escalated from berating small donors to mocking opponents in ways that the community called cruel.
That the brain didn't tell the muscles to grow. Basically, I have very limited use in my arms and my legs.
I can't accept losses where I bodied you and you just get some fake fucking shit on me. Slobbering all over fucking controllers and shit. I'm good. I'd rather quit, lose another 500 points. I'm hella straight, dude. I'm hella straight.
Like the Brawly Legs incident in mid-2015, where he attacked a disabled player on stream, clips of his anger spread rapidly, drawing condemnation from both fans and the wider fighting game community. People warned that his behavior would catch up to him, and it did.
This is a fucking video to some fat on YouTube named Boogie 2988. Now, I'm tired of this fat popping up in all my fucking search engines when I'm looking for a fucking workout video. I don't give a fuck about the aftermath from any of you Boogie fans that feel sorry for this greasy.
In 2017, a weird clip started making rounds online. No gameplay, no match, just LowTierGod locked in, going after someone for minutes straight. The target was Boogie 2988, a creator people already knew for being open about his life and struggles.
You have a mustache back then. Well, I shaved it off.
You're okay, go.
This is a fucking video to some fat on YouTube named Boogie 2988. I'm not standing up.
What made the clip stand out was how personal it got. DeLawan Sparrow didn't talk about content or opinion at all. He went straight at Boogie's appearance, his weight, and his lifestyle, repeating the same attacks again and again, as if that was the entire point. It didn't feel like typical gaming trash talk. It felt much heavier and more mean-spirited. Years later, on a 2023 podcast with Adam22, DeLawan would openly admit that he targeted Boogie largely because of his weight, even saying, "I hate Boogie for being fat." But the original clip that shocked many people first surfaced and spread widely around 2017, marking a clear shift where his content moved further away from gaming and into straight personal attacks.
But what was it about Boogie that really pissed you off?
He was fat. So it's like, that's all it was. He just, I don't know, I always had this like, even I gotta catch myself today. It's like, I'll catch myself slipping. I'm like, I'll keep thinking like, oh, the fat motherfucker get across the street. Like somebody's fat walking across the street.
Viewers picked up on it immediately. The tone wasn't something that you could laugh off or treat as an act. People in the comments started pushing back, saying this just crossed a line. Some called it uncomfortable. Others said it wasn't even entertaining anymore, just meant for the sake of it. The clip didn't stay in one place either. It spread across platforms, and the reactions followed it. Threads popped up, breaking down what was said. More people started reporting the video for harassment. Even some regular viewers who were used to his loud, aggressive style started stepping away from it.
Salad dodger, chair crusher, butterball, go to Subway but put everything on it. Michelin Man. Happy because Hostess is back in business, motherfucker. I know there's gonna be a lot of people out there calling me a bully.
For a lot of people, this was the turning point. It showed that the content was drifting further away from games and into something more personal. The reaction wasn't just shock or curiosity this time, it was the frustration, and it kept building the more people saw it. By the early 2020s, the backlash had grown unstoppable. Sponsors pulled away, major platforms restricted him, and the reputation that had taken him years to build crumbled. People started saying hateful stuff, like, how would you feel if Sparrow died? And the people simply didn't care now. LowTierGod made headlines in 2024 to 2025, when leaked financial documents revealed he was sitting on roughly $121,000 of debt, with a credit score of around 660. The biggest chunk, unpaid and back child support. LowTierGod has a young daughter who was around 10 years old at the time of the leaks. Court records and his own stream admissions showed that he owed thousands monthly. These financial problems didn't happen in a vacuum. LowTierGod's chaotic personal life fueled the spiral. He has a long-running beef with YouTuber June the King, who produced the viral Rise and Fall of LDG documentary.
Listen to this pussy ass nigga. This that dude that dropped that fucking documentary. What fuck nigga has light up shit on his fucking bedpost?
Sparrow allegedly harassed, doxed, and stalked June for years, turning the drama into endless online wars that hurt his reputation and streaming income. Family issues added to the fuel. LTG publicly feuded with his own sister on Facebook, posting rude and racist remarks that alienated even his relatives and drew more backlash. His past relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Elena, became another flashpoint. Allegations exploded in 2024 that he began dating her when she was 17 and he was 29, a 4-year relationship that many called grooming. Videos resurfaced of him arguing with a crying teenaged Elena, and the scandal went nuclear after exposés labeled him a low-tier groomer. On top of everything, LTG was repeatedly accused of posting girls' nudes and leaking private content, including his own. These incidents triggered massive public outrage, streams filled with trolls calling him every name imaginable, subscribers dropping, and the FGC community turning him into a permanent meme. What started as streaming income turned into a cycle of rage, poor decisions, and mounting debt. By the time the $120,000 figure leaked, LowTierGod's entire online persona had become a cautionary tale of how unchecked drama can financially ruin someone. By 2024, the persona of LowTierGod had become a relic of its former self. The internet, which once celebrated his chaos, now endlessly recycled it. Every infamous meltdown was clipped, edited, and reposted across YouTube, Reddit, and Twitch highlight channels. Troll pages dedicated to mocking his behavior grew, turning his worst moments into viral content loops that refused to die. Every attempt to flag videos or demand removals only fueled the attention. The more he fought, the more the clips spread. The delete yourself rant became one of his earliest and most notorious outbursts, becoming the defining symbol of his downfall. In the clip, he told an opponent in vivid, grotesque detail that your life is nothing and suggested they end it. Originally shocking, the viral nature of the video ensured it traveled far beyond the fighting game community. Forums, social media threads, and reaction channels dissected it endlessly. Condemnation was widespread, and Allowin doubled down instead of apologizing, cementing the perception that he was reckless and difficult to support. Where once LowTierGod could command hundreds of thousands of views and thousands of likes per stream or video, now he scraped 1,000 or 2,000 views, accompanied by comments. His fighting game community notoriety had turned into a cautionary tale. Sponsors, collaborators, and even casual fans disappeared. Longtime supporters left, exhausted by the constant negativity and aggressive persona. Allowin's attempts to remain relevant from 2025 to 2026 are modest. He streams occasionally, but the content no longer draws large audiences. The rants are fewer, the energy is lower, and the once feared presence he had online feels distant. He experiments with other projects, including small YouTube uploads, personal updates, and fitness-related content, but nothing reaches the same level of attention he once had. Even when he plays newer titles like Tekken 8 and appears alongside other creators such as Deji, the reaction is different. Moments that once would have boosted his image now often turn into criticism or reminders of his past. Some viewers still support him, leaving comments encouraging him to stay consistent and improve. But a larger portion of the audience watches with a different mindset, pointing out his behavior, warning others, or comparing him to what he used to be. In many ways, the shift is subtle but clear. He still plays, still streams, and still talks the same way he always has. But the internet around him has changed. What once built his name now works against it. The same trash talk and ego that helped him stand out in the beginning now followed him as a lasting reputation, one that is harder to escape with time. Ultimately, the collapse of LowTierGod's career illustrates a stark reality. A persona built on rage, provocation, and conflict can only rise so far before the internet turns it into its own archive of downfall. Sparrow remains online, but largely forgotten, a figure remembered more for the clips that haunt the internet than for the skill or ambition that once drove him. The fame that once seemed unstoppable is now a lesson in how viral attention can devour the very creator it once celebrated. Sparrow's story is a powerful lesson about how personality, choices, and online behavior shape a career. Behind the chaos of LowTierGod was a man who had ambition, education, and the potential to be gentle, thoughtful, and respected. Degrees in health and fitness, business management, and a desire to carve out a meaningful future shows that he was capable of more than rage-filled streams and viral meltdowns. The collapse of his online career reminds us that even the most entertaining personas can be fragile. Viral fame, unchecked anger, and toxic behavior can quickly turn a following into backlash, and a once celebrated influencer into a cautionary tale. DeLawan's journey teaches the importance of combining skill and ambition with respect, self-control, and integrity, traits that outlast fleeting internet notoriety. If you like this video, share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear your opinions on what shaped his rise and fall. Also, check out our other videos on the screen now.